Hello guys, welcome to another short tutorial on Angular. In this video, we are going to see how we can implement cascading drop-down options in Angular. This is one of the most widely used option in our day-to-day work. As you can see in this example, I have a drop-down where countries are listed here. On selection of country, automatically second drop-down will be filled with different options here. As you can see, when I select India, different states are showing in the drop-down as options. If I choose US, the states related to US are being displayed here. There might be several scenarios where this cascading dropdown is very useful in our applications. So let's see how we can achieve this one in our Angular application. First thing, to create a cascading dropdowns, we need to have dropdown options. So let me create two dropdown options here. We don't need name attribute here. I will remove this one and I will remove ID as well. So this will be the first dropdown where I am going to add two options. One is India and second option will be US. So this is the first set of drop down. We need another drop down option. Here also I don't need name or ID need to be defined. This is a second drop down option where we are going to show the states dynamically. So for that reason, let me have option only and keep these values and other things blank. Now we have basic HTML skeleton for our cascading drop down. So let me go back to browser and you can see we have two options in our first drop down and there are no options in second drop down. As I said, this second drop down option will be getting fetched dynamically. So I will be using a concept of ng-for. This is a for loop which can be used to populate an HTML template element based on the conditions. For in this example, as we are going to push the states, that will be dynamically increasing or decreasing. If there are two states, this option element will be repeated two times and it will be added to this select element. Similarly, if there are three states, this option element will be repeated three times and it will be attached to select element. So we'll get a drop down options. As I said, this will be repeating, so we need to define how many times it should repeat. So I will have a let variable state of states. So we need to define this array in our TypeScript file. So it will take the count of these states and based on this count, it will push the value to state and it will repeat a number of times. So let me create a states here. As I said, this is an array. We are going to make this dynamic, but just to check whether it's working fine or not, we'll add options here now and we'll check. Then later point of time, we'll convert this one to dynamic. So now we have added looping code and here as this option will have a value where we are going to store the value of this option. So we need to define that one as well. For the value we'll be having the state. As all the values are looping and getting stored in state, you can define this one here. And to display the text for the drop down option, you can use the string interpolation and within that one you can add state. So this completes the looping mechanism for this option. So now this ng for will loop the items of states array which we have defined here and it will add each element into this option. So let's save all these files and go back to browser and check whether it's working fine or not. As you can see here, we got two options here. So these are nothing but the options which we defined in array. Yet there is no relationship between these two drop downs. So the final step would be we need to set the relationship between these two drop downs. So that will become a cascading drop down options. For that one, I need to save this option selected by the user into one variable. For that one, let me create a variable by name country. It will be of the type string and we'll use a two-way binding here to store the option selected by the user. Add that one as ng model is equals to country. Now the option selected by user will be stored here. Then we need to set the option of this one based on the option selected by first drop down. For that one, let me add a change method here. So whenever this option changes, we will trigger a function set state and copy this function, and we need to create that function here. So then, as we are storing the options selected by the user in country, by taking the help of this one, we'll check whether the user selected option for country is equals to India or US. So if the user select India, we need to set the states as states related to India. For that, we'll set this dot states is equals to, we'll modify the array based on the selection. If the user selection is India, then the states will be set to these three options. Usually in real-time applications, we will pull this data from database. But for this example, I am showing you as a array. And in another condition, if the user selection is US, then we'll set the options of states array is equals to the states of US. So that's it what you need to do. So now whenever there is a change in these options, this method will get called set state. In this method, we will check whether the country which is selected here is India or US. If it's India, the states will be set to states of India. And if it's US, states will be set to states of US. So let me save these files and go back to browser. As you can see here, default options are set to option 192, which we initially set here. And when we select or change the country, you can observe that second drop down is getting changed based on the user selection of first drop down. If I select India, states related to India will be populated in second drop down. So this is how we can achieve cascading drop down option in Angular. That's it guys for this video. Thank you for watching this. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Click on like button and share it to others.